Good afternoon. President Barnard, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 25th Annual Students Teacher Recognition Reception here at the University of Manitoba. I want to begin by acknowledging that the University of Manitoba campuses are located on the lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that were made on these territories. We acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. My name is Diane Hebert. I'm the Vice Provost of Academic Affairs here at the University of Manitoba, and it's my delight to serve as the MC for this afternoon's reception. I want to begin by introducing members of our platform. Mr. Shannon Martin, the MLA from Morris, is here on behalf of the Honourable Ian Wishart, Minister of Education and Training. Dr. David Barnard, our President and Vice Chancellor. And Dr. Mark Torsha, who's the Executive Director of the Centre for the Advancement of Teaching and Learning here at the University. This event asks individual faculties to select an outstanding graduating student to acknowledge and celebrate two teachers who've had a positive impact on their lives. They're asked to select one teacher from their K-12 years and one from their time here at the U of M. Over the past 25 years, we've recognized almost 900 teachers, and I'm very pleased that we're going to be adding more to that number today. I'd like to begin by calling on Mr. Martin to say a few words on behalf of the Minister.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shannon Martin. I'm the MLA for Morris. It's my pleasure to be here on behalf of Minister Ian Wishart, the Minister of Education, who unfortunately has business at the legislature today. I would like to start by acknowledging that we are on Treaty 1 territory, and the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Métis Nation. This is a very good opportunity for all of us to think about the teachers that have made a difference in our lives. I think we can all recall a teacher from our kindergarten to grade 12 experiences in school who went that extra mile to help us see our own abilities. And I'll stray a little bit from the script that the department gives you, and I'll go back to my own. Mr. Simmons was my English teacher in junior high. And he was one of those teachers who recognized that, you know, the awkward, shy kid who sort of kept a bit to themselves and seemed to have a bit of a vivid imagination could be reached through reading. And so Mr. Simmons introduced me to a world of stories and novels that went beyond the curriculum that we were doing in junior high. But led to what is really a lifetime love of reading. And I did have an opportunity some years ago to go to my old elementary or junior high school, Greenwood, and actually see Mr. Simmons and thank him for instilling that love of reading, which, I mean, is that kind of passion that stays with you and serves you not only in terms of your professional career, but in terms of, you know, your own personal just enjoyment of life. But there was those teachers that we're all going to talk about today that offered us the understanding and the persevered alongside of us as we mastered what at first may have seemed a struggle. Through the encouragement and inspiration of those teachers, we as students experience success over and over again. Becoming university students means negotiating new expectations in a new environment. When entering university, many of us feel uncertain and tentative about our ability to succeed. It is indeed a significant transition going from high school to university. This uncertainty subsides, though, when we connect with a professor who takes the time to guide us along the way, a professor who has that unique ability to inspire the passion and to help us explore and learn. This is a meaningful and lasting gift. I look forward to hearing about the challenging graduate students here today have overcome as they recognize and honor those teachers and professors who've made important contributions to their education. This recognition is well-deserved, and it will give teachers and professionals honored here a great deal of satisfaction to see those tangible results of their time and efforts, knowing that it has made a difference in somebody's life. My best wishes to the graduating students as you embark on the next phase of your life. To the teachers and professors who are honored here today, I thank you for your commitment to students. Your contributions are well-deserved and worthy of our respect. I appreciate again the opportunity to be here to help you celebrate these contributions and look forward to meeting and hearing your stories. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us today. I'd now like to call on President Barnard to say a few words.
I agree with what Mr. Martin has already said. I expect that every one of us in the room could tell stories about outstanding teachers who've shaped us. For me, the most influential teacher I had in my early years was my grade 8 teacher. Fortunately, had a chance to thank him on his 90th birthday 2 years ago, and to speak to him just before he died earlier this year, and to explain to him that I think I've spent most of my life exploring worlds that he hinted at, doors that he pushed open for my classmates and for me when we worked together in grade 8. It was an amazing experience. The world all of a sudden got bigger and much more exciting and richer as a result of that experience. And I'm sure all of you can think of people who have played that role in your own lives. I'd like to share with you a little poem that I think captures part of the feeling that I have, at least, about this ceremony, which is really one of the best things that we do each year, I think. It's a poem entitled Congratulations by Richard Harrison, and here's what he says. Here's what it is when the runner breaks the tape. The cheers prove it takes a crowd to make a race. I like that. I think that's cute. We focus our attention on the one person who's succeeding, but we recognize that many, many people in the crowd, whether as spectators or contributors in ways that shape the person who runs for the running, all of those people play a part. And it's just so wonderful on this day, once a year, to pick some teachers, both here at the university and at earlier school experiences for students from each of our faculties, to recognize the important role that people play in helping to make that race. So thanks to each of you for participating and being here. Thanks to all of you for the contributions you make to inviting people into bigger worlds.
Thank you, President Barnard. Well, I suspect that many of you, like our platform guests, have already started thinking about your own educational journey and the people that have had a significant impact on you. But what is it that distinguishes a teacher that has a profound impact on a student from all the others that students encounter? The students that we're going to hear from this afternoon are going to try to answer that question for us, as they share their experiences and the reasons why they've chosen the particular teachers that they have to honor today. I'm going to call each student by faculty to the stage, and when I do, I'd ask that you would bring your honored teachers with you. If you then want to step to the podium and share briefly why you've selected the teachers you have, and then Dr. Torsha will hand out the awards and the certificates, and then I'd ask you to move along to our photo area, and I'm going to ask Dr. Barnard, Mr. Martin, if you would go over to the photo area and be joined there by representatives from your faculties. We'll have a photo, and then you can return to your seats. Everyone know what you're supposed to do? Okay. This all sounds very complicated. All right. So if Dr. Bernard and Mr. Martin, if you'd like to go over, we'll begin. All right. From the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences, I'd like to call William Pallister, along with the teachers Jared Carlberg and Patricia McCrae. Welcome.
To my left is Pat McRae, my grade 12 teacher, and to my right is Jared Carlberg. Mrs. McRae was my grade 12 teacher from Portage Collegiate Institute for pre-calculus and AP calculus. One of the most memorable teachers from my years of high school, her teaching style was one of a kind. She genuinely cared about the future of her students well beyond the time and space of a classroom setting. Jared Carlberg, my econometrics professor from this past year, is a distinctive personality fit for teaching any student. Outside of class, as the Associate Dean for Agribusiness, he stands up for the best interests of students, but inside of class, he taught one of the most challenging classes. Luckily, I love a challenge. They both have something in common. They both want their students to achieve excellence inside and outside the classroom, but with one caveat, only if you've earned it. There's never an easy way to achieve something, only the right way. Any job worth doing is worth doing right. Life is never a popularity contest. Just like students, a lot of teachers believe that the higher the number of students that favor them, the better the teacher they are. But not in my case. It's about challenging me and questioning my actions while also supporting my method of doing things. Specifically, in Professor Carlberg's case, it never bothered me when he teased me in front of the whole class, because I was quick to dish it right back in an equally embarrassing manner. It's all in good fun. Mr. Carlberg taught me that you should always stand up for yourself, especially when dealing with someone in a position of power, as teachers are. It's needed for students to challenge their professors, as it is equally necessary for the professors to challenge their students. Growth will not occur without challenges for both sides. Mrs. McRae was full of life lessons almost every day. She was a great person to offer advice to her students, even if they didn't ask for it. I remember during some classes, she would reminisce about her own experiences and let her students know that anything worth doing is never easy. It wasn't very rare when she would talk to everyone in the class, telling us about what lay ahead in our future, and not just telling us what we wanted to hear. These life talk sessions would often take up the whole class time, and sometimes more. It's people like these in my life who offer me the opportunity to set my sights on the big picture. The little things are not worth sweating, but worth enjoying. Outside of class and inside of class, they offer opportunities for personal growth. Because how is life any fun if we're not improving ourselves? Thank you.
From the School of Agriculture, I'd like to call up Brian Archibald and his teachers, Don Flatten and Sandra Freeman.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Archibald. To my left here, I have Mrs. Sandra Freeman, my high school teacher, and to my right, Dr. Don Flaten. So it's kind of fitting we're in the Killarney room today, as I'm from Killarney, Manitoba, and so I can feel right at home here with everyone, which is fantastic. I'd just like to start by saying how honored I am to be here today. Growing up in Killarney, small town, so obviously we only have one school from kindergarten to grade 12, and as a result of this, we've become very familiar with our teachers and professors and vice versa. I'm very honored to have Mrs. Sandra Freeman with me here today, as I was very fortunate to learn from her for several years as a student and came to appreciate the numerous efforts she provided every day in order to give students such as myself the opportunity to succeed. While she formally taught me English, what I also came to learn and appreciate from Mrs. Freeman was how she was able to challenge students to think outside of the box and develop critical thinking and analytical skills, which have helped allow me to develop into the person I am today. Her work ethic and desire to help students succeed in the classroom and in life are second to none, as every day she is always the first to arrive to the school and also the last to leave. I will always be thankful for the effort she provided me in order to be here today. Also standing with me here tonight is Dr. Don Flaten from our own University of Manitoba. Dr. Flaten is a professor in the Department of Soil Science, and his many years of experience, I'm guessing, probably exceed me in age, which makes me even more fortunate to be able to learn from such an experienced and qualified professional. Dr. Flayton's ability to provide students every opportunity to succeed is always apparent as he continuously makes efforts both within and outside the classroom to help students learn and understand, and always has his students' best interests at heart. His ability to capture students' attention and encourage them to continuously learn and apply their knowledge make him an exceptional professor, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for him today. With that being said, I would like to say thank you to everyone who has allowed me the opportunity to be here today, and to thank and congratulate both Mrs. Sandra Freeman and Dr. Don Flayton. There's no question that without their influence, I most definitely would not be here or who I am today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I trust that all of the graduating students have ensured that their profs have submitted their grades, or I would suggest perhaps you edit your comments accordingly. From the Faculty of Architecture, I'd like you to welcome Samantha Blatz, as well as her teachers, Jean Trottier and Christopher Coop.
Hi, I'm Samantha Blatz. To my right here is Jean Trottier, my university professor, and Christopher Coop, my high school teacher. It has been my experience in university that just because someone is an expert in their field doesn't necessarily mean that they are able to teach their expertise. Fortunately, I found a professor who is able to do just that. Jean Trottier has taught me for the past 2 years, and his classes have been a true delight. Each one a display of his unique knowledge and offering students something that could never be found by simply reading a textbook or through any number of internet searches. I came into this program already with an intense interest in city planning, and through his teaching in both lectures and studio, he has helped me grow that passion and opened up new opportunities for my work to grow in the future. And for that, I say thank you. It's been many years since I was in high school, but it is easy to remember that Chris Coop was my most influential teacher during those years. We butted heads at times, but I still remember what I took to be the most important lesson that he taught us. It's cool to care. In a high school where at times the competition was who can be the most apathetic, it was thrilling to hear a teacher who we all respected tell us that no, what was cool was to care deeply about what you were doing, to be unapologetically passionate about the things that you loved, and that it was okay to be disappointed when you did not achieve what you had worked so hard for. I will always remember that lesson, and I'm very glad for the chance to say thank you.
From the School of Art, I'd like to welcome Danielle Fenn and the teachers that she is honoring today, Sharon Allward and Helen Koish.
Hi, my name is Danielle. I'm a student from the School of Art. Helen Koish wasn't able to join us today, but I have with me here Sharon Allward. So Helen structured her classroom to be hands-on, which was always stimulating and engaging. There was a clear flow to the day, clear expectations, and lots of incentive to stay engaged and contribute to maintaining a positive classroom environment. I liked the split grade classes. I was in her class for 2, 3, and then again when I was in 3, it was still a 2-3 split, and then again because it changed to a 3-4. I liked the carpet time, the pets. We had fish and a hedgehog. Mechanical pencils that we got when we did the chores around the class, and I loved bookbinding, something that I do still as an adult. I remember fun projects like making paper mache planets and hands-on math and science experiments. It was always a good time, and learning was fun. Sharon is a force to be reckoned with. I admire her most for her ability to run a course performance in particular, where it is safe and encouraged to explore personal and vulnerable content while maintaining standards of professionalism in the arts. She is really gifted at spotting when someone is in need of support emotionally, artistically, etc., and knows how to deliver in ways that may seem small but have a huge impact, such as letting my peers and I have time, however brief, to decompress after performing live for critiques. And for those of you that don't know art or haven't been to art school, critiques are as serious as an exam. So to me, this demonstrates that Sharon is an expert in her field, and I couldn't be more grateful to have benefited from her guidance. Thank you.
You can pick up a lot of good tips from this event. Bring a hedgehog to class. We have two outstanding students from the Faculty of Arts today. The first student I'm going to call is Oluwuba Miga Akanamoya, and he is honoring Warren Carreau. She is honoring.
This high school teacher that I wanted to honor can't come here. He's still in Nigeria, but I think I should still honor him in spirit. And to my right is Dr. Carreau, who's my English professor. In secondary school, I found myself leaving the physics lab early to sneak into the literature class. The day before, I had seen a book, Hamlet, and I knew I could not miss this lecture on Shakespeare. On getting to class, I soon realized that Mr. Anemeje did not just teach literature, he lived literature. And anyone whose mind has been affected by another's passion will recognize its ability to save. That year, I converted from being a science student to an art student, and I am grateful to Mr. Anemeje for reorienting my path through his love of literature. But I am indebted to Warren Carreau. Warren, the very first day I was in your class, I showed you a scrap of paper on which I had jotted a poem. I had no expectations concerning your reaction, but I did not expect the generosity of your reply. You offered to teach me all you knew about writing and poetry. You helped me secure a year-long internship at a literary magazine, Prairie Fire Press. You encouraged me to apply to Sage Hill Writing Camp in Saskatoon on a literary scholarship, the Anne Zumagalski Memorial Scholarship. And only I, was surprised when I was accepted on a scholarship into that summer program. You already felt I was deserving. You encouraged my art when I thought it was unworthy of attention. And most of all, Warren, you made me flourish. Thank you. What Dr. Carreau and Mr. Anemeje could not know, was that they did not just change my academic path, they saved my life. Sometimes life can seem unkind and chaotic. What Dr. Carreau and Mr. Anemeje offered me in their ecstatic classroom lectures and generous office hours was a key to a place where I would learn to feel at home in my being, where the values of intelligence, beauty, and purity are sovereign. Teachers are the custodians of the refuge that is art. Thank you.
Also from the Faculty of Arts, we have Rory Waisman, who's honoring Randy Jameson and Beck Crivachet. The award for Beck is being accepted today by her granddaughter, Jasmine Crivachet.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rory from the Faculty of Arts Department of Psychology. It's my great privilege today to recognize the contribution of two tremendous teachers who have had an enormous impact on my life. Dr. Randy Jameson, here from the University in the Department of Psychology, and Mrs. Beck Crivachet, who 35 years ago was a resource teacher at Isle Parrots Folk School here in Winnipeg. It happens that Mrs. Crivachet was also a very close friend, practically best friends, with my grandmother, Faye Greenstone. So I knew her as Auntie Becky. Sadly, Auntie Becky passed away in 2008. But today I'm very pleased that one of her granddaughters, Mandy Crivachet, is here to accept this honor on her behalf and in her memory. This takes us back to grade 1, some 35 years ago or so. I was having difficulty learning to read, and my teachers concluded that perhaps I was a bit slow. They doubted I could ever really catch up. And when Auntie Becky heard about this, she was aghast. She was sure the teachers were mistaken, and she insisted on assessing me for learning disabilities. And what she discovered is that it was my eyes that were slow, not me. She worked with me one-on-one every week for, I think it was about a year, guiding me through special eye and reading exercises. And before long, I was reading without difficulty. Auntie Becky did for me what she had done for countless other children. She advocated for me. She educated the teachers that doubted me. She helped me to have a real opportunity to learn. For more than 5 decades, Beck Crivachet was a strong and influential advocate for children with learning disabilities. Not only did she tutor thousands of kids here in Winnipeg, she was also a founder of the Manitoba Association for Children with Learning Disabilities. Beck Crivachet's legacy lives on in the lives of all the children she helped, including me, and I'm grateful that she was there to help me. Now, I'd like to make a few comments about Randy Jameson, who unfortunately could not be here today. I recently watched a video that was made 4 years ago when Randy was last on this stage being recognized by another of his students. My predecessor that year made a reference to Randy's intimidating intelligence. I got a good chuckle out of that. You see, it was just a few months after that video was made that I joined Randy's cognitive science laboratory as a volunteer. And I very quickly learned from Randy that intelligence is not a characteristic of a person, an animal, or a system, but rather intelligence is something that we attribute to the behavior of a system when it interacts with its environment in a way that we would describe as intelligent. Even the simplest system, like a slime mold, can produce behavior in interaction with its environment that we're, as humans, going to label as intelligent. Just give it some oatmeal flakes and watch it go to work. It'll design a transportation system with greater efficiency than anything our engineering department here at the university could come up with. There's a scientific paper that proves it. Well, Randy's no slime mold, but the behavior that he exhibits in interaction with his environment is astoundingly brilliant. And as a beneficiary of that behavior, I am very, very grateful. Randy has been a mentor to me, encouraging me to engage my curiosity, to ask interesting research questions, training me to apply the logic of scientific method to discover the answers to those questions, and guiding me to succinctly communicate the discoveries that come from that process. I'm grateful to Randy for helping me develop the confidence in my potential to be a successful researcher. And I want to thank him for his understanding, his support, and all of the encouragement he's given me over the past 4 years. Thank you.
From the School of Dental Hygiene, we have Jasmine Bonenfant, and the teachers are Lorraine Glassford and Faye Tardif.
All right, hi everybody. Today I have with me Miss Tardif and Mrs. Glassford. I'm going to start off with Miss Tardif. She was my junior high English teacher, and her class was the one I looked forward to every day, and the same was true for any other classmate that had the privilege of being her student. She created a teaching environment that allowed me to grow, challenged me to strive, and gave me the opportunity to develop the skills to question my thinking, defend my stance, and also respect and consider the opinions and views of others. I was always very shy, but she challenged me to express my thoughts and opinions unapologetically. She made me unafraid to be wrong, and that was a very important lesson at 14, the age we think we know everything. She taught me that being afraid to be wrong not only stifled my ability to learn something new, but also closed the door to a conversation that could expand my knowledge. Without realizing at the time, she taught me that living in a bubble of your own opinions closes you off from the people and the world around you. Having a teacher that helped me realize so young the importance of open and fair-mindedness, respect, and understanding helped me develop into the person I am today. These tools were essential to my success as a student. Being wrong isn't a bad thing, nor is it something to be embarrassed about. In fact, being wrong or unsure is where I credit most of my learning, because along with all the valuable lessons this woman has instilled in me, she taught me also to seek answers and develop an understanding so that I could make sure that the new knowledge had stuck. In life, we have teachers that show up, teach the curriculum, and that's that. But today we're honoring educators, those who go beyond the curriculum and allow you to explore it, question it, and engage in it. Because what good is knowledge if you can't apply it? So thank you, Ms. Tardif, for being a pivotal person in my career as a student. I owe my tenacity for knowledge to you, and it was an honor to be your student. Now for Mrs. Glassford, she is a jack of all trades at the School of Dental Hygiene, but for introductory purposes, I give her the title of clinic coordinator, although she is so much more than that. Now, dental hygiene is a rough 2 years. I don't know if any of you have ever seen dental hygiene memes that exist, but they are excruciatingly accurate. When I was juggling lectures with clinic and rotations, playing catch-up during externships, finding time to create presentations while studying for multiple exams, meeting outside of school to work on group upon group projects, I, along with everyone else, kind of got lost in the sea of work we had to tackle. Now, I'm not complaining, it's a great program, but once you're in it, you are completely immersed. The good news is that once a week, I got to spend an hour with Mrs. Glassford. For me, that hour allowed me to maintain my sanity. She had a knack for saying exactly what needed to be said at precisely the right time. When everything seemed to be getting to the point of sheer panic, she would always put things back into perspective. She is someone who genuinely cares for each of her students and one of the most empathetic, understanding, and fair people I have ever met. She encouraged me to keep pushing through, tackle one thing at a time, stay on track, and never doubt my ability to succeed. Her sense of calm is contagious, and her laid-back, humorous attitude allowed me to relax, find my bearings, and keep going. If we are lucky enough in our career as students to get at least one teacher like Mrs. Glassford, the one who doesn't give up on anyone, we are truly lucky. Her commitment to her students' success is unparalleled. So thank you, Ms. Glassford, for giving me the weekly boost I needed to cross the finish line.
Our student from the College of Dentistry is Ryan Howard, and Ryan is honoring Noriko Boerberg and George Atkins.
Hello everyone. As was mentioned, my name is Ryan Howard. I'm graduating from the College of Dentistry at the Rady Faculty of Health Sciences. It's a pleasure, as many students have said, to be able to honor some of the teachers that have made a significant impact upon my education both in high school and in university. I'd like to start by saying a few words about Mr. Akins, who was my English teacher in both grades 11 and grade 12. For an hour a day, Mr. Akins was my guide through the worlds of Shakespeare, Tolkien, Umberto Eco, and the Beowulf poet, among others. Mr. Aiken's knowledge of the literature we studied seemed to be endless. I fondly recall how he would gather in interpretations for all manner of sources, and sometimes that would seem like a tangent, but it would all lend itself in the end toward understanding and context. So for an hour a day, for a few days each week, Mr. Aiken successfully held my attention and my interest as I hung on his words, to the point where I was always disappointed to hear the bell ring for class change at the end of class. Mr. Aiken successfully engaged my full attention and challenged my classmates and I to imagine a world outside of our own. It was this class that Mr. Aiken's that taught me in thinking both critically and creatively, lessons in reading between the lines, and instilled in me a love for literature that I carried on to my university studies and my personal life. So thank you, Mr. Aikens. I would like to turn my attention now to Dr. Borberg, who has been involved in my dental education in a variety of capacities over the last 4 years. Starting from my first year in dental school, it was Dr. Borberg's experience and knowledge that taught me fundamental lessons in striving for perfection and not sacrificing quality in a profession where fractions of millimeters really do matter. Her teaching style is articulate, interactive, and tailored to the needs of individual students. Furthermore, Dr. Borberg, in my opinion, is the embodiment of the phrase above and beyond the call of duty. Whether she is lecturing in operative dentistry, instructing in preclinical laboratories, or on the clinic floor, meeting with students over a lunch hour to go over their coursework, or serving on a variety of committees after the day is done, Dr. Borberg is always on the go. The phrase, "you can't be in two places at the same time," comes to mind, but I'm convinced Dr. Borberg can do it. Through my time at dental school, Dr. Borberg's boundless energy and cheerful enthusiasm, as well as her dedication and care for her individual students, have been instrumental in inspiring motivation and drive in my own studies. Her lessons and her set of values have made a strong impact on me that I will carry forward with me in my career for years to come. So thank you, Dr. Borberg. As I think you might be able to tell, there really isn't enough time allotted to me today to fully explain how much I owe to these two mentors, but I hope that I've at least scratched the surface. Again, I'm thrilled to be able to have the opportunity to give a fraction of recognition that I believe these two mentors deserve for their commitment, their energy, their care, their patience, and their devotion. Thank you.
From the Faculty of Education, I'd like to invite Douglas O'Brien to come, along with Christina Baranowski and Wally Itzen.
Good afternoon. I'm here today to recognize Mr. Wally Itzen and Dr. Christina Baranowski. Mr. Itzen was my band teacher and jazz band conductor from grades 9 to 12 at R.D. Parker Collegiate in Thompson, Manitoba. And Dr. Baranowski taught me in the Faculty of Education about teaching French. These two teachers share many characteristics that I hope to emulate in my own classrooms when the time comes. They have both dedicated themselves to their students and their students' education. Mr. Itzen would work for hours, days even, in organizing band and jazz band trips to provide his students with exciting and educational experiences that students would carry with them for their entire lives. Having had a taste of what dealing with high school students can be like in my practicums, I know it takes a special kind of person to decide to take a group of them through an airport to another country. Dr. Baranowski similarly works very hard to ensure that students in the Faculty of Education have opportunities to travel abroad and teach in Francophone environments to increase their French teaching skills. Even her lessons bring students to St. Boniface and expose them to the French culture we have here in Winnipeg. As a teacher, it is very natural to believe what you are teaching is important and sometimes needs not only to be learned well, but to be prioritized. Students, however, have diverse goals and priorities. Dr. Baranowski and Mr. Itzen have both accommodated me based on my own personal goals and have worked harder to allow me to pursue my goals based on where I am and not necessarily where I should be. Dr. Baranowski found a way to make a time conflict with one of her classes and one of my student leadership positions to be a non-issue. She allowed me to take the course I was interested in while fulfilling my duties as the chair of ARC Education. Mr. Itzon allowed me to join grade 9 band even though I had dropped grade 7 band. His private lessons over the summer provided me with the opportunity to play an instrument I always wanted to play, and I in turn dedicated myself to music during high school. These few examples are only a small part of how these two individuals are great teachers, and I will always be able to look back at my time in their classes to influence my own teaching for the better. Thank you for all your hard work and dedication, Mr. Itzon. Merci beaucoup pour votre travail acharné, Dr. Barnowski.
Our outstanding student from the Faculty of Engineering is Ella Thompson, who is honoring Ian Jeffrey and Rhonda Smith.
Good afternoon. My name is Ella Thompson, and I'll be graduating in June from the Faculty of Engineering in Electrical Engineering. I'm extremely honored to have the opportunity to recognize two of my outstanding teachers throughout my time in high school and at the University of Manitoba. I attended high school at Balmoral Hall in Winnipeg, and I've known Mrs. Smith for the past 8 years. Even after I graduated from high school, Mrs. Smith and I have continuously kept in touch. Mrs. Smith was my debate and public speaking teacher from grades 10 to 12. And she played a huge role in helping to develop not only my public speaking skills, but also my self-confidence. Mrs. Smith put countless hours into helping me practice and refine speeches for competition to ensure that I was always prepared and, most importantly, self-confident. Public speaking has been an incredible asset throughout my time in the Faculty of Engineering, and I attribute my success in public speaking to Mrs. Smith. When I participated in competitions, Mrs. Smith always traveled as a chaperone. She took so much time away from her family in Winnipeg to travel with me and other students to places like Australia and South Africa. She was like a mom away from home for us and was always there to help. I loved traveling with Mrs. Smith because of her enthusiasm and her kindness towards all of her students. She showed a genuine interest in her students, not only academically, but also with what was going on in our lives, and I can't thank her enough for that. Dr. Jeffrey was my professor for numerical methods in second year in engineering. He was also the faculty advisor for Engineering Student Council for the past 3 years, while I was on council as secretary and then treasurer. Dr. Jeffrey was always enthusiastic in conducting the numerical methods course. He attended every one of our lab sessions and worked closely with students to ensure that we fully understood the course material. Largely because of the labs in his course, I developed a strong interest in MATLAB and computer programming, and I've since conducted 2 summers of research in that area, and I attribute my success and interest in that field to his course. Dr. Jeffrey's course was also extremely well organized, and his lectures were always clear and designed to ensure that the students understood the material. He was always extremely helpful as our faculty advisor on student council and worked to provide feedback and help to guide the students to ensure that all of our events were successful. We all appreciated the time and dedication that he put into the role. He was an outstanding example of a professional engineer and was a role model for me personally. Both of these teachers, as well as many others, had a large influence on my life as a student. I can't thank either of them enough for the time that they've put into helping me and all of their other students succeed. Thank you very much.
Now from the Clayton H. Riddell Faculty of Environment, Earth and Resources, we have student Kayla Billis, who is honoring John Hanesiak and Trang Do.
Hi everyone, I'd first like to recognize Ms. Trang Do, my International Baccalaureate Mathematics teacher at Miles McDonald Collegiate. Ms. Do, you're truly great at what you do. Your teaching style and explanations are so clear, you make it possible for everyone to learn math. Also, you put so much care into each and every one of your students, which is what truly makes you so extraordinary. You have a way to make math fun and keep your students' attention, which is a real talent. I'll never forget the night a few days before the IB math exam where the whole class got together to review exam questions and eat pizza. What a fun way to learn math. When I came to your classroom a few weeks ago to tell you about this event, it really warmed my heart to see our class photo of us wearing all of our shirts that we made still on your wall. I still have my shirt, by the way. Anyways, Ms. Doe, I would like to thank you for everything you taught me. I truly believe that the strong background in mathematics you provided prepared me for and helped me excel in the mathematics courses I have completed for my degree. You're such a smart woman, and I am sure you have impacted the lives of many students. Not to mention all the work you do for the less fortunate. You are truly amazing. I would now like to recognize my atmospheric science professor, Dr. John Henesak. Throughout my degree, I have completed many courses taught by John, plus he was my advisor for my honors thesis. I would like to thank you, John, for being the backbone of the atmospheric science stream. Without you, this program would not be what it is today. So thank you for providing these courses and allowing me to pursue my dream, studying meteorology. You are so intelligent and have a true passion for meteorology, which is what makes you the amazing professor that you are. I, of course, came into this degree with a love for weather and the atmosphere, and everything you have taught me has only made the love stronger. I really enjoyed sitting in your classes and absorbing all of the knowledge you have to offer. You have a real talent of explaining complicated processes and equations in a way for all your students to understand. I would also like to thank you for being my advisor this year for my honors thesis. I never thought I would complete a 62-page paper. I'm very proud of this, so thank you so much for all your input and help. Overall, I am honored to have been taught by you these past 4 years. I have learned so much from you and cannot wait to use this knowledge in my future career. I'm also excited this summer to learn more from you during the Storm Chase course, where we'll actually do some hands-on learning. Dr. Henesak, I strive to one day be as experienced in meteorology as you are, so thank you.
From the Faculty of Kinesiology and Recreational Management, I'd like to welcome Maya Kirstein, along with Colleen Plumpton and Stacy Finkelman.
My name is Maya Kirstein, and I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Recreation Management and Community Development. I'm really appreciative of the opportunity to recognize the special teachers in my life that have helped to shape me both personally and professionally. I've been lucky enough to have learned from many talented and inspiring teachers throughout my 18 years of education, and none have inspired me more than the two being recognized today. Miss Stacy Finkelman was my high school English teacher, but so much more than that. She helped myself and my friends start a student group called Student Alliance, and this group allowed us to bring students together to talk about and fight against social justice issues. We fundraised, advocated, and fought for a stronger anti-bullying policy at our school, and Ms. Finkelman was the backbone of it all. Her spirit and desire to help us be better people and make the world a better place was inspiring and had a lasting impact. Through Student Alliance, I was able to develop leadership skills in a sense that I could make an impact in my community, and this has guided many of the choices I've made since. Ms. Stacy Finkelman is unable to be here today, but I still wanted to recognize her and the impact she's made on my life and the lives of many other students. I also want to thank Mrs. Birch, Shaftesbury's principal, for coming on her behalf. Colleen Plumpton has also been a huge inspiration to me and has helped to shape my professional path immensely. Colleen teaches many of our courses in the recreation program, and she is the #1 advocate for our profession. Colleen's passion for recreation and leisure is incredible and contagious. I speak for my entire faculty when I say that she inspires us to be better professionals and to be passionate about what we do. Colleen helped me discover the profession of recreation therapy and encouraged me to pursue it, and I'm thrilled to be working now as a recreation therapist. Myself and my classmates could always count on Colleen to be an encouragement and to help us find new opportunities to grow professionally. I absolutely love what I do, and I don't believe I would have found this path without her. Both these incredible teachers continually go above and beyond, and their support and guidance helped me to excel and to become the person I am today. I can't thank them enough.
From the Faculty of Law, we have Karas Elberdisi, who's honoring Jennifer Schultz and John Robinson.
Good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here today to honor both of these wonderful teachers. I believe that the best teachers are those that help their students discover something about themselves that they didn't know was there before. And so I met Mr. Robinson when I was in grade 8. He was my debating coach. And I remember before my first debating class, I told my mom, I can't wait until the semester is over because I'm terrified of public speaking and I'm never going to do it again. But Mr. Robinson had different plans. He wrote on my report card that semester that he believed that I had the potential to compete on an international scale. And he put countless hours and lots of hard work into training me and preparing me for those competitions. And for that, I thank him. And through that, I came to realize my passion for the law and my passion for advocating for those who couldn't advocate for themselves. And so enter Professor Schultz. In first year law school, I was in her torts class, and that was one of the hardest classes I took that year. And after not doing so well, she comforted me and told me that she would help me, she would be a reference for me to let potential employers know that I wasn't such a bad student. And she also taught me a law and popular culture course this year, which admittedly I took because I thought watching movies as homework would be quite cool. But through writing a paper for that class, she pointed me in the direction of many topics that I could research and put into the paper. And through that, I learned that I had a passion for academia. And so one day I might return as a master's student. So to both my teachers, I would like to thank you so much for helping me become the person I am today.
From the College of Medicine, we have Joshua Pillay, who's honoring Kevin Bernstein and Michael Patinod.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to echo some of the comments that other students have said, that I'm just very happy to be speaking here today, and I feel very honored to be given the opportunity to select and recognize 2 outstanding teachers that have contributed to my education. It's a running joke for the last 4 years that medical school is a lot like high school, and I couldn't feel that that's more true than today, reflecting back on my education and selecting these teachers. I've now completed 21 years of education, so as you can imagine, there's been a lot of teachers that I've interacted with, some good, some bad, unfortunately, but some excellent, and it was very tough for me to narrow that list down and select just 2 to invite today. So I brought with me Mike Patnode, or Mr. P, as we affectionately called him in high school. He's a teacher from Grant Park High School, and he teaches chemistry, environmental science, and he also runs the advanced placement program. He was my favorite science teacher. In him, I think I saw a kindred spirit. I really appreciated the level of intellect, along with the humor and the passion for social and ethical issues that he brought to the class every day. One of my fondest memories, which is kind of strange, was Mr. P calling students doofuses. Sometimes myself would be included in that if I had a smart joke that I thought I should bring to the table. But he always used that term benevolently. I don't think I've heard anyone use it quite the same way since. It's quite motivational. Moving on to medical school, there's many researchers and physicians who are involved in the medical curriculum, but Dr. Kevin Bernstein stands prominently in my mind as being among the best of them. He served for 5 years as our Director of Curriculum Renewal, and he helped to craft an entirely new spiral scaffold curriculum, which students just love. It's great. Sitting on many committees myself as the senior stick this past year, and involved in student government for several years, I've seen just a small indication of the tremendous time and energy that Dr. Bernstein has put into the curriculum. In his spare time, which I can't quite imagine what that is, he's a practicing nephrologist and also serves as the director of our urinary tract course, one of the most complicated yet easily the most organized courses in medical school. He's the only course director to have written and published his own notes package, which students revere as the Kidney Bible. And beyond that, he's an excellent and engaging lecturer and tutorial leader in his own right. I can barely conceive of the number of students that have crossed paths with these two excellent teachers, and I just feel very lucky to have crossed paths with not one, but both of them, and I hope that one day I can emulate everything that they've taught me as I move forward in my education and hopefully educate future students as well. Thank you.
From the Desautels Faculty of Music, we have Gregory Lewis, who's honoring Oleg Pakanowski and Pamela Lewis.
Hi everyone, my name is Greg Lewis and I'm a graduating violin performance major from the Desautels Faculty of Music. This is pretty fun for me to be up here today because not only do I get to have Oleg Pakanowski here with me, my private violin teacher for the past 4 years at the U of M, but I also get Pamela Lewis, or as I call her, Mom, who homeschooled me all the way from kindergarten through to the end of grade 12. So, yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna talk about her in only 2 minutes when she did that much. My mom was very intelligent and very caring, and she instilled so many very important life lessons in me beyond just my education. And I couldn't thank her enough for that she was able to get me through all the way through high school and into the University of Manitoba and ultimately to Yale for my master's next year. Probably the most important lesson that my mother taught me was the lesson of always treating every project you do with 100% respect and integrity. And that if you can tackle a project that you don't necessarily care about or you don't want to be doing, and if you treat it with 100% respect, when you then turn to your dreams and passions and commit to an education that is something you really care about, the work doesn't feel like work anymore at that point. It is just such a pleasure to be doing what you care about. So that was a huge contribution to my education, which I'm very thankful for. And then I have Oleg Pakanowski, which is also a very special teacher to me because in music we have private lessons every week, we have master classes, we have competitions and recitals, and our teacher is there with us at every single one of those occasions. Oleg was extremely dedicated to making the most of every opportunity we had together and always being alongside me through any class I took, any competition or audition that I took throughout my education. Probably the most important lesson that Oleg taught me was the lesson of always pushing yourself beyond what you thought was possible. There would be many competitions or auditions which I did not think I was a contender for, and regardless of what I thought, Oleg thought, why not go for it? And so he would help me prepare a plan for what I would do. He would be alongside me all the way through the process of preparation, and whether results are what I hoped for or not, he would find important lessons to celebrate and important things to take away from the experience. So I owe a lot to Oleg for just really helping me learn how to motivate myself, push myself, and pursue my dreams and never give up on what I do. Thank you.
From the College of Pharmacy, I'd like to invite Dana Habicht to come and introduce Grace Frankel and David Long.
I'm excited and honored to be here today and to represent the College of Pharmacy here. I chose to honor two outstanding educators, my grade 11 pre-calculus teacher, Mr. David Long from Glenlawn Collegiate, and Dr. Grace Frankel from the College of Pharmacy. When I think back to grade 11, the memories of grade 11 pre-calculus with Mr. Long are some of the first times that I can remember being excited about math. I know there's probably a few math teachers in the crowd today, and I think we can all agree that it takes someone very special to make math exciting. Some of the qualities that Mr. Long has that make him such an excellent educator are his sense of humor, and he's also just a very inspirational individual. Dr. Frankel is actually the only professor who taught me throughout my entire pharmacy degree in each 4 years. Over the 4 years, she went from being the professor who introduced me to OSCEs, which are one of the most gut-wrenching forms of examination, to someone who I really look up to and admire as a role model and individual. It took me some time to think about why these two educators stood out to me. They both helped me at different stages of my life and in different and unique ways, but they do have something in common. Both of these teachers went the extra mile to build a personal relationship with me. They weren't just interested in teaching me about math and about pharmacy, but they considered my unique needs, and then they went out of their way to meet those needs. Now that I'm finishing up school and entering the workforce, like a lot of other people here, I've been a student for almost 2 decades. I've come to realize how important that skill is, the ability to build relationships. And I just am so thankful that I got the opportunity to say thank you to Mr. Long and to Dr. Frankel. And I just want to say thank you also to all of the other educators who are here today who went the extra mile and built relationships with each of your students. Thank you.
Our final 2 students this afternoon are from the Faculty of Science. The first student is Shirley Wang and is here honoring Ayush Kumar and Jack Tullner.
Hi, my name is Shirley, and I'm from the Faculty of Science. I feel really honored to be nominated by the Department of Microbiology. Today, I want to honor my high school teacher, Mr. Jack Tullner, and my university prof, Ayush Kumar. Mr. Tullner was my English teacher in high school. Before taking his class, I was really afraid of him. I thought he looked really scary, and everyone said that he was a shark when it comes to marking, because he's always really strict and always deducted marks for everything. But looking back now, high school English was one of my favorite classes, and it was really the highlight of my high school years. Starting high school, English was one of my weaknesses. But Mr. Tullner taught me to not be afraid of what I'm bad at and to make it into one of my strengths. Tullner taught me how to appreciate language and the art of literature, and that's something I still value today, so thank you. And Dr. Ayush Kumar was my prof. He was the prof who taught me my first microbiology course, and it was on mechanisms of infectious diseases. Before, I wasn't really interested in microbiology, but because of Ayush's enthusiasm and his great sense of humor, I became really interested in the course. And I ended up doing research with him this summer, and I stayed as a project student and worked for him for the whole year. Ayush is a really great prof. He inspired me, and he always amazed me by how much he knows about his field. Every time we come to him with problems and questions, he's always really quick to troubleshoot and help us find solutions. And it's really inspiring that he's so dedicated to his work. Every morning at 7, he's already in the lab, and he always stays late and checks up on us before he goes. And one day I wish to be as dedicated to my work as Ayush is to his right now. Thank you so much for being so inspiring and being patient with me and helping me become who I am today. Thank you.
Our second student from the Faculty of Science is Shek Hei Yuen, who's here to honor Judy Anderson and Wing Kang Yang.
It is my pleasure and almost flattered to be selected as the outstanding student of the faculty, because I don't really think I was any extraordinary or exceptional from others regular students. But if in any cases I'm academically exceptional, I would like to attribute this success to my mentors, who have discovered my potentials and given me all the chances for me to grow into me right here. Unfortunately, Mr. Yang, he is in Hong Kong because he is my high school teacher, and unfortunately he is in some medical condition, so he is not able to be here and share this happiness with me. But I will still thank him, because during high school, we have to face a lot of different subjects simultaneously. And when I got lost in this knowledge, the sea of knowledge and these ginormous informations, he found my potential towards science. And also, he guided my way, and he ignited my passion towards science. And this is why I selected science as my lifetime passion. And the other mentor that I would like to thank today, Dr. Judy Anderson. She is teaching a few courses of my third and fourth years in the U of M. And more importantly, she is my supervisor for my undergrad honor research project. So as my supervisors, she have to deal with a lot of problems and troubles that I've made in a daily basis. And she, as the head of department, I believe she will be very busy, and she didn't spend 1 second less to babysit me. And this is why I'm really grateful, and I'm grateful that I have a chance to say thank you to her. So if there's one thing, the most important thing that I learned from two of my mentors is the mind to be confident, to be creative and innovative. And when you see a problem, make your decision wisely and go for it. Never regret. Thank you.
Well, thank you to all students and teachers and students for sharing your heartwarming and inspiring stories, and to all of you for helping us celebrate the power of education. I'd also now like to thank some people who were really instrumental in organizing the event this afternoon: Jennifer Clark, Corinne Misak, and Penny L'Esperance, and all the special function staff. Thank you for all of the work that you've done to make this afternoon possible. Yeah, thanks. So now I'd like you all to please don't rush away, but if you would like to join us for the reception part of the afternoon, if you just want to go through those back doors, and to your left, there's a reception area in Marshall McLuhan Hall. Please come and give us an opportunity to congratulate you and just enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us to be part of this special event.